This is Brother Hot Tim. I just finished another 3 miles, so um, this is of course not on mile three. This is a Jeremy journey. I'm continuing with my tales, so I keep track of them, and hopefully you're getting something out of them because when a lot of us was young, people stopped telling us the stories, and I want to resurrect the stories. So this is my version of the stories for grown folks. I call this my folk tales for grown folks. So go and check it out. This is one that I rewrote. All of them I rewrite for specific reasons, and I want you to get the lesson out of this. This one, you probably heard, those of you that's been following me for a while, you heard this one, and if you have my book, Lost Art of Storytelling, you know this tale. This is one of my staple stories, and I've recently been experimenting with some young people, but now I'm going to do it for the grown folks. So if kids is listening, please go on, escort them out the room, because of course Brother Hatem on Giami Journey, I'm going to let it loose. So the words is going to be flowing, and the cuss words probably going to come because I am hip hop. I'm not saying that hip hop is all cussing, but hip hop is about expressing, and sometimes the cuss words make it a little easier to get an idea across, because I'm not necessarily trying to get you to understand what I'm saying when I'm using a cuss word. I'm trying to make sure I got your attention. Two, I'm also trying to evoke an emotion, because if the tales don't evoke emotions, what good are they? You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't go to a movie that didn't evoke some emotion. You wouldn't pay no money for a movie that's not evoking your emotion. And most of the time you won't buy a book that's not evoking your emotion. So bear with me as I do my stories in my style. So long ago on a plane, you can say it's in Africa, you can say wherever, a plane, not a flying plane, but an African plain, a grassland that stretched for miles and miles. There was a pride of lions. For those that don't know, lions move in pride and with pride. And they move together and they hunt together. And the female lions are the major hunters, and they go out and they're able to catch this prey, and the male lions protect the female lions as they go out and get the prey, because the male lion is bigger and is able to protect what is captured, although he takes what's called the lion's share, but it's a good deal for everybody involved, because everybody eat and you get to keep it, because them hyenas is always out, and them jackals is always out, and them vultures is always out, and some of them are too big for the female lions to go up against. So it's up to that male lion to get down there and protect it. Well, anyway, there was a certain pride, and they had a nice little piece of property that they monitored and protected, and it was their land, and they did their thing, but somehow they got some type of disease, and the majority of this pride died, leaving one female lion and her young Simba cub. Now, this female lion had a tough choice to make. She could go and join another pride. They would gladly welcome her, but they was going to kill her young Simba, her young lion. Why? Because male lions don't like any other male lions coming in unless they are directly related to them. It's just the way lions are. As a matter of fact, you can see some of this behavior in our communities when these women hook up with men, and these men try to destroy these boys. It's just something about the energy of one man coming into your house, and and then there's these little lion cubs that belong to this other man. Some men go to their base instincts and try to destroy these children. Lions are like that, and they still up to this day do that. You bring a young male lion into a pride where he wasn't born, and one of the male lions is not the father, and he is going to die. So she had a choice to make. Either she could go join a pride and allow her young Simba to become a victim, or she could go and move and find find a place to stay and raise her Simba. So this mother Simba decided that she was going to raise her young Simba. So she found a cave and she gave him specific instructions. Do not leave this cave. So she would go out and she hunt, and she was an excellent huntress, and she would be able to bring all types of game back to the cave for the baby to eat. And they ate, and sunrise, she'd get up and she'd go out. Sunset, she'd come back with the food, and they would eat. And this went on for a while, and eventually one time she went out and never returned. First day, the young Simba thought maybe she wasn't able to get nothing or bring it back. Second night, he really started to get worried and started having fear. Third night, he's getting hungry, and he's getting hungrier, and nights go by, and sunset, sunrise, sunset, sunrise. His mom never comes, and he's getting really concerned. So eventually, he ventures out the cave to try to find her. And in trying to find her, he ended up getting lost and couldn't get back to the cave, and eventually just kept walking until, from exhaustion and hunger, he basically laid down to die. Now, it just so happened that there was a herd of sheep that just happened to be around there grazing, and one of the female sheep stumbled on this lost little Simba, and she took mercy upon him, and she fed him her milk and allowed this Simba to chill with her. But the rest of the herd looked at her like, you crazy woman, do you know that this little Simba is going to grow up into a full-grown Simba, and Simba's eat us? She said, I don't care, because she just had lost two of her own babies, and that motherly love overcame her, and she said, I will take him as my own, and I will raise him. And she raised him, and she raised him so good as a sheep that he began to think he was a sheep. He forgot all the experiences of being a young lion, and he became a sheep. He ate like sheep. He drank like sheep. He grazed like sheep. He began to act like a sheep and forgot all of the ways of a lion. And his teeth began to go soft because he wasn't eating like a lion. And his nails became dull because he wasn't playing and doing things like a lion. And he began to walk with the sheep and he grew. And he became a full-grown lion thinking he was a sheep. He even barked like sheep. So, as he grew, the herd accepted him, and he grew up with some young sheep. But the sheep were very mean to this lion. They would say things to him like, you are the ugliest damn sheep I have ever seen in my life. Look at these teeth. These teeth ain't, you got the ugly, you are a mutant. Something wrong with you. What's going on? Even when you say baa, the baa don't even come out right. You are the ugliest and the clumsiest sheep I have ever seen. When we traveling as a herd, you falling all over everybody because you can't follow a herd. You can't even follow a herd right. You are the dumbest, most clumsiest, ugliest sheep I have ever seen in my life. They knew he was different. He knew he was different, but deep down, he was trying to be the only thing he knew how to be, and that was a sheep. But the sheep always let him know that he didn't fit. We accept you as a sheep, yeah, it's cool, you fit in, but you the ugly sheep. You worse than the black sheep. You just don't fit. Well, anyway, one day when he was out playing with his peers, one of the male sheep with horns came up behind him and knocked him down and started laughing. Bah, ah, 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 bah, ah, ah, Look at this ugly sheep, the little puck won't even get up and fight. And all the other sheep that was with him started laughing. Yeah, bang, 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 laughing at him. Well, anyway, they didn't know because they weren't paying attention. Hiding in the bushes, just creeping up, was a full-grown Simba. And he came up at the tail end, and all he saw was his brother lion being knocked down by these sheep. And he was going to mind his business because he thought this was another lion's hunt, and he didn't want to mess it up and have to fight with this lion. But he saw this lion knocked down, and the pride that he walked in, and the pride, he thought about it. He said this would be dismal for the reputation for all lions if I let this slide here, because I'm totally confused. I ain't never seen a lion get knocked down by a sheep, maybe a water buffalo, maybe a rhinoceros, maybe even an elephant, but a sheep? Hell no. So he jumped out, running full speed, and all of the sheep seen him and scattered except for the one that knocked the young lion that thought he was a sheep down. And this sheep turned around and lunged at him at full speed because it was his role with horns to try to protect all the sheep and at least give them some time to get away. So he ran up to this lion. This lion struck him down with one blow and killed him with one hit. And he went over to the young lion who thought he was a sheep and saw him laying down shaking, and he thought he was just shook up. He said, "Listen, my brother, I see that your hunt went bad, and I came out to assist you. We could share the spoils. We ain't got to fight over the spoils, but I thought I would give you a helping hand." And he put his paw down and helped the lion up, and he noticed that the lion was shaking, and then he said, "My brother, what the hell is wrong with you?" And the lion that thought he was a sheep looked up at him and said, "With tears in his eye, please don't eat me." And the lion thought it was a joke, thought this lion was trying to keep his pride together by telling a joke, and he fell out laughing. "Oh, I never heard one like that. That's a good one, lion." So he got back up and he put his foot out. "Now get up. You are hilarious. You might be able to join my pride because you just ridiculously funny." And he saw this lion was really shaken and scared. And he said, "Please don't eat me." He said, "My brother, what's wrong with you?" He said, "I'm just a little sheep, please. I'm just beginning my life as a full-grown sheep. I just..." And the Simba, the real Simba, looked at him and was shocked because he was like, "My God, this lion really thinks that he's a sheep." So he reaches down and he snatches this lion up and drags him to a puddle of water and said, "You are not a sheep." "Yes, I am a sheep." "You're not a sheep." So he forces him to look at the reflection in the water. And he says, "Look at my whiskers. Look at your whiskers. Look at my nose. And look at your nose." He forced his mouth over and said, "Look at your teeth. And look at my teeth. Look at my mane. And look at your mane. Look at my paws. And look at your paws. Look at your claws." Forced his claws out. "Look at my claws. Look at yourself. Tell me what you see. What does this tell you?" The little lion looked at his reflection, then he looked back at the full-grown lion. He said, "You must be an ugly sheep too." And the lion took it very seriously. He said, "I am not a sheep. You may think that you are a sheep, but I know what I am. I am a lion, and my pride runs these plains. So don't you ever, ever call me a sheep. I eat sheep. I eat antelope. These animals are my prey. And you can pretend to be a sheep if you want, but I am a lion. Now, young Simba, you have a choice. Either you could stay here and pretend to be a sheep, or you could come with me and learn to be what you truly are. And the young lion was confused. He didn't understand what was going on, and he was really confused because he had never been faced with the reality that he was really different and that he may not be a sheep. So the older lion snatched him up again and drug him over to the sheep that he had killed, and he told him, I'm going to show you that you're a lion. And he ripped off a piece of the flesh of the sheep that he just had killed, and he gave the young lion a piece. And he forced it down his jaw, and he grabbed his jaws and forced him to eat, and something started happening to the lion inside, because he hadn't ate meat since he was little, and he didn't remember, and something in him started to boil. And although at first it was a terrible thought that he was eating one of his brothers, it just jumped up on him all of a sudden, and all of a sudden, through that pure instinct, he jumped up and he started tearing at the flesh of the sheep that was there, and he was confused, and he was like, oh my God, what am I doing? And the lion said, no. You're doing what you were born to do. Don't feel guilty for being who and what you are. You're lost. And you have a fatal choice that you have to make right now, a crucial choice that you have to make. Once again, you could come with me and learn to be a lion, or you could stay here and pretend to be something that you are not. And the young lion sat down with his confusion and thought for a second, and began rocking back and forth because he was confused. He didn't know what decision to make. So he decided to ask a question, and he said, I would go with you, but it looks like you live a lonely existence. You see, in the herd, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to think. We just move from place to place, and we can eat grass together, and we could roam, and as long as we stay together, we're cool. I don't have to think. I don't have to take any responsibility. And it looked like that you live a long, hard, and lonely life. And the lion stepped back. Simba stepped back, and he said, let me show you something, little brother. And he did his roar. And he said, and the roar echoed out in the plains. And it was silent for a moment. But eventually, the young lion heard other roars coming back. He said, you hear that? That's my pride. And as long as you live as a Simba, you never have to worry about being alone, because as we walk these plains, we are never alone because we walk the soil of our ancestors. We walk with pride, and we walk in pride, and we work together, and we are never alone, even when you are out here by yourself. So, young Simba, you can come with me, or you can stay here and once again pretend to be something that you're not. So the young Simba said, I'll go with you, elder. Teach me. Now, that's the end of the story, at least of that story. But I hope you got the message out of it. Don't be ashamed of who and what you are. If you are a Simba, allow your roar to roll out on the plains of your life. And when you follow your true path, you'll know that you are never alone, because those that came before you blazed a trail, and they left it for you, and you'll never be alone. when you are confronted by fears, you find that fear will be transformed into something that'll be beautiful if you just face it. So I'm going to leave it there. You go and get the lesson. This has been Brother Hatim. I'd like to thank you for your time. I didn't send out shots to those things I love at the beginning, so I do it at the end. I want to send shots out to Oxy Water, the world's first flavored mineral water, oxygen-enhanced flavored mineral water. Your one-stop shop for a nutrition drink. Check it out. Go to www.tryoxywater.com. Also, I want to give shouts out to Orange 82 that provides me with my music for my live shows, the intro and the exit music, as well as the commercial music. So go and check out Orange 82 at www.orange82.com. This has been Brother Hatim, and this has been one of my folk tales for grown folks. So get the lesson and keep it moving. And with that, Brother Hatim says peace.